Hello, hello, hello.
Hello,
Welcome,
friendly people.
welcome to the Consistently Rolling Show. I know we've been gone for a minute, but we right back at it. How are you? I'm consistent.
I'm rolling. I'm good. Nice, beautiful day out here today. Yeah,
Has it
yeah.
been? It's okay over here in Michigan. We got a little bit of turbulence, bad weather. We supposed to rain all week. I'm not sure. It's nice though right now. So
Always something. Always something. So what's
always
up? What
not
is up? What is up?
nothing. How do you want to start this show today? I'm following your lead. Remember?
Oh yeah, yeah. Follow my lead. That's right. I forgot about that. Well, man, a lot going on in the world and stuff. A lot of interesting things that a lot of people not used to hearing or talk about. But hey, let's get started with it. So let's see here. I guess we can start with the short news first, the really short, quick news. Uh, Baltimore, Maryland, Baltimore, Bmore, Charm City had a 2.6 earthquake yesterday. Uh, my mom called me in a frantic yesterday and asked me that did I know anything about an earthquake, and I said no, and she said, "Yep, we just had an earthquake today." Actually, as she was talking to me, it was still the aftershock was still going.
Hmm.
So she was pretty quick about it, pretty nervous about it and everything. And I calmed her down so that yeah, everything be okay. It's not nothing to worry about. But I just find it interesting where places where we normally don't get earthquakes, we get them. You know, D.C., Maryland, Virginia. You're not used to hearing that type of stuff over here in this side of the coast.
Yeah, the last time I did do a little research. The last time that Maryland had an earthquake was August the 23rd in 2011. I do recall my grandmother calling me about that one. Now
Yeah,
this one they said was a mild one, which was like a 2.6. That one in 2011 was a 5.6. So everybody actually felt that one a lot heavier than this one. But we
yeah,
do pray for those who went through the scares of it or even got some type of damage from it. So yeah, I want to pray for that. Over here in Michigan, we had a massive flood, especially on the highways last night. 94 and Southfield was hit very badly. People's cars were stuck in it and those type of things. So we want to send our condolences out to you guys as well. It's been a lot of bad weather going on. We get good weather, nice and sunny, and then something else just comes on top of that. We can go
yes,
into
we
the
get that bad weather.
conspiracy and say that there are powers that be that does this, but along with it, I do realize, like I was telling you, um, with not just with the weather, but this turbulence that we're going through. Because last time I checked, we were going through a solar eclipse thing where Jupiter is
Yes,
coming in. So we get
yes,
all of that energy, and that energy is like quite draining. Like you said, you have a neutral. Some days I wake up angry, don't know why. Like
right.
it's a really hard struggle spiritually, or if a person is trying to stay positive, it can be a bit much and overwhelming. And I wanted to just say that because, like I said, I know personally I've been going through it. So remember to breathe and talk to yourself as positive as you can, and however it is that we need to do to get through it.
Yeah, stay away from negative people. They don't help.
Yeah, it doesn't. Burn your
They don't help at
candles,
all.
burn your sage, incense, whatever it
Yes,
is you need to do.
yeah.
Pray.
Let's see. Whew, what else going on here? I ran across my my little exciting board here. Oh, so space news here. Let's go to space a little bit. NASA has detected a massive large object. They're calling it a comet, one like they've never seen before because of its size. From one end to the other end, it's about the size of the state of Ohio. Um, it is so massive that um, some astronomers are calling it a small sized planet like Pluto.
Hmm.
Um, they say that it's moving very slow. It should be in our solar system about 20, um, 2030, 2031, something like that. And the way it's coming in, well, our solar system is like a flat plane, a disk, and this comet is coming from the South Pole, from the bottom of it, and it's going to come up behind Jupiter and go around the sun. Um, we may not see it, although it is very big, but the coma, you mean with the escaping gases of this rock, is already starting to disperse all the way out in space, out in outer stutter space.
Mm-hmm.
So they already see they are images of this comet and everything already. That's how bright it's starting to illuminate. So we may get a good look at it, or the night skies may be illuminated at nighttime from this coma from this comet. That's what they call it. And again, NASA saying that they have never seen nothing like this before, ever, because of the sheer size of it and the way it's moving very slow. Um, and on top of that, there are other things going on around the world when it comes to space, from Spain to Mexico. There was one incident over Lake Michigan with the UFO or a aerial phenomenon, whatever they want to call it now. Um, but we've been seeing these things pop up all over the place in deep space. A lot of astronomers with their powerful telescopes are seeing it in deep space almost every night. And they're there. You get a telescope, you look out in the sky, a nice one, maybe a 16-inch refractive telescope. It's pretty good. You can really see a lot of stuff in the night sky. So all those reports coming in, right on top of the government saying with the disclosure and the Pentagon with the disclosure and the Navy and everything else. So there's a lot of stuff going on out in space. It's
And
to the point
I
where
will personally say that these
Mhm.
are just the end of times. It's been, I mean, we can't say what it is, why it is, but we
right.
know for sure. Everybody knows or feels or understands that there's a shift coming, and these
Yeah,
are the
but what do they mean by end of times? Are we all going to die? The Earth going to blow up? What does that mean?
You want me to do personally or religiously how I was raised? Which one you
Do
want?
both. They said do both. I want to hear both. I need a
Okay,
good laugh.
well, religiously, how I was raised, the end of times means that Jesus will be coming back soon.
Who?
Jesus
Okay.
will be coming back soon to save his people, his children, the people he died for,
Is
those
this
who
the
have
white
been
Jesus or the black Jesus?
who have been striving to do the best of their heart's will to live in the path of
Ain't coming
Christ.
from me then.
Um End times for me now means that this is the end of times for us,
Like,
meaning our time as humans are running short. Not saying that my children won't be here or whatever the case may be, but the times that we knew it, just like back in my grandmother's time, the times that she knew has come and gone. That is what the end of times means for me.
oh, okay. So it's like the change of time. Days that we're used to seeing and talking about are completely different. It's coming up. Maybe AI will be introduced. The aliens will be more introduced to society. Technology, those type of end
Our
times.
rampage. If you ask Elon Musk, if we don't get chips in us, we will be of a non-existent species. Period.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I
So
mean,
yeah, so I like I said, it's definitions. But if we were go off of religion, then that would mean that God is coming back to get his people, because it's just getting very chaotic. You know what I'm saying? Just terribly, just sinful as it can be, far fetched. What is it?
Right.
Imagined, I guess. So
Yeah,
definitely.
I guess the Iraq war. Is,
Say that again. I don't know what happened. I can't hear you.
oh shoot, hold on.
There
How
you
about
go.
now?
Gotcha.
They don't want me to talk. But I guess all the wars of the world that we went through and all the horrible genocides that the world went through, I guess that wasn't horrible enough for Jesus to come back yet. Now you gotta still wait till we get really bad, huh? Like really, really, really bad.
We can go into that if you want to go into that today. Today is the Sabbath. If you want to really go into that, we can go
I,
into that today.
I'm just curious. I'm trying to get myself ready for this trip. You know, I don't got milk and honey, but I do got Red Bull. Gives me wings, so I'm just trying to be ready. You know.
Okay. I think we talked about the milk and honey thing the last time we were on here. We would love to hear your comments. Thank you for the like, but please comment and subscribe also to us.
Right.
Um,
Pack your
we
suitcase.
um we can go into religion, or we can keep on going.
We can touch on it a little bit.
Okay, so what do you want to touch on as far as
I need you to make me understand. You know, I really need to understand so I can get myself ready right. You know,
understand what exactly? Because at the end of the day, the
when
Bible says that we are born in sin and we will always be sinful,
how can we
according to
be
the
born
Bible.
in sin if this guy named Jesus died for our sins?
Jesus was the only person who came into this world sinless.
Yeah, and he died for our sins, correct?
I get that.
Right.
Me and you are
So
on the
so I
same
wasn't born
page
in
as that.
sin.
Okay,
I
so
got
all
a free
right.
I got to get out of jail free card. What are
Okay.
you talking about?
Okay. Okay. Be prior to how consistent is today. Okay.
Mhm.
It was from my understanding that some things we just really just don't question at all.
Why?
I don't know.
That disrupt my free will,
We
freedom of
just don't
speech.
question it. You don't question God. You just don't.
Why not? That's like my
You
child.
don't.
I'm not allowing my
Well,
child to question me. Are your children allowed to question you?
no,
Why not?
because what I say is law.
That no, it isn't. You could be
What
wrong.
I could be, but to them, what I say is law.
But so God can be wrong.
Mm, no, God can't be wrong according to religion.
Then you can't be
According,
wrong
wait a
then.
minute. According to religion, no, he can't be wrong.
According to religion, according to man who wrote their religion.
According to religion and religious beliefs, God cannot be wrong or questioned.
Okay. So if God cannot be wrong and he sent his only begotten son to die
Begotten.
for our sins,
Mm-hmm.
then we are sinless. We were not born in sin.
No, you were born in sin. Your Jesus came into a sinful world. He didn't take away sin. He just came into a sinful
So what did he
world.
die for then?
He died for people who believed in him to be saved.
But that ain't what the Bible said.
That's it is.
The Bible said he died for our sins. I
Those
mean,
who
I can't open
believe,
I came to Christian church sit now.
those who believe in him
Don't
to be
believe it.
saved.
Okay, so is this the white Jesus or the black Jesus?
I couldn't tell you which one that is.
So what did Jesus look like?
According to the Bible text of the King James Version, he had woolly hair
So he's not
and
white.
dark skin.
So
Exactly. He's not
he's not
white.
white.
Right.
Okay. So some brothers gonna come out and get us if we believe in this.
Mm-hmm.
She tell me.
Yeah.
And it cannot be wrong. And I cannot question that.
Can't question God.
I can't no, I'm talking about Jesus. I cannot question Jesus and I cannot question God, but yet God gave us free will.
Well, maybe you can question God according to certain things.
Yeah, because there's several religions out here, several texts and several books, several
Of course.
hundred. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and a lot of it that none of it is unknown to us. But I just can't. I just trying to grasp the love and find the love and the truth and the honor and all this kind of stuff that God's supposed to be. But then turn and point the finger at me and says, Don't question.
But that's what Jesus is. Jesus showed love, absolute, abundant love.
But Jesus was born as a human,
Yeah, he
and he
was.
was a badass kid.
Well, that's not in the Bible.
Was he born in a sin? Was he born in sin?
He was born in a sinful world.
He was born in sin. So
Hmm.
he's just like everybody else with his birth from a womb of a woman.
Yeah, but what
He
makes
didn't
him?
ma- he didn't
But what
magically
makes
appear here.
him who he is through the Holy Spirit. Remember?
So do you think that, okay, let's say Jesus, Yeshua, Yahweh, whatever you want to call the Jesus or Jesus or whatever you want to call him, um, was birthed by a woman on this planet. So do you think there's a chance that that part of the story of the Bible was completely made up by man and only idolized this individual because he did some things like a shaman monk or teacher or educator of what it should be according to him and his teachings? Because if I'm not mistaken, someone taught Jesus religion because he traveled around the world to learn this, right? He wasn't born with this knowledge. He was taught by man, another man, this knowledge.
According to the Bible, though, we don't know if Jesus learned anything because let's be honest. So I'm going to give you my answer, but let me give you the timeline of what we know. Okay, what we know according to the Bible, because I know you and I have done more research. So what we know according to the Bible, Jesus was born. Jesus was hid because he
Mhm.
was about to. Somebody was trying to kill him. We
Mhm.
don't know anything about him until what? Maybe he's 2 years old.
So yeah, about two. Yep.
Then we don't really hear too much about Jesus until he's about 12 when he is. And to be honest, the story is actually like this: Jesus was left in the church. His family forgot him. That's
Mhm.
basically what happened. And while
Yes.
in the church, he was talking to said elder people, and with his knowledge and wisdom that he had, he was able to teach them some things and let them know, hey, I'm here to do my father's work.
Where did he
Okay.
get that knowledge from
Hmm. I don't
at
know.
that age?
I don't know.
Back those times, who taught him? See, that's the part. That's the part that the teachings leave out. You know, 'cause- but yet we're not supposed to question that. We're not supposed to question that.
Okay,
I think
let's
that's
let's
wrong.
keep going. Let's keep going
Yeah,
with the
I think that's wrong.
timeline of
Okay,
Jesus.
okay. So,
We
you know,
know that
so
we know that his trade was a carpenter because that's what his father was. So he helped him out. We know that
nice.
he had brothers and maybe sisters. We're gonna assume because that's not really technically in the Bible, but
Yeah.
we know he had some brothers for
Well, a
sure.
lot of things that deal with women or the female nature was taken out of the Bible.
We don't hear anything more about Jesus until he is about 30 years old and he comes to his cousin to get back. No. Is that no? He's in the wilderness for 40
Mhm.
days and 40 nights, no eating, no drinking, and having a conversation with said devil, who we call Lucifer or Satan, the
Mhm.
one that has many names. Okay. Then from there, he goes to his cousin and he goes to get baptized. Um, the heavens open up, and God sends a dove and says, "This is my son, who I am very proud of." And then for 3 years, Jesus proceeds to go, I want to say, all around Jerusalem. So it was like a river or something. He goes all around in that area and he teaches people for 3 years until they decide, hey, you're just being blasphemous against God. We don't want to deal with you no more. We exclude all the miracles that you have shown us. We just ain't trying to deal with you no more. And he gets crucified at the age of 33. And he rises again. And that's the last thing that we hear about Jesus.
So he came again. They literally killed him, and he came back from the
Came
dead.
back to life. Right.
Uh,
That is what is told in the Bible.
yeah. Well, there are gonna be a lot of pissed off people when these aliens come back.
What aliens? There's no such thing as aliens.
That's right. That's right. There's no such thing as aliens. But yet that's written in history, including the Bible. But we don't want to talk about that either, right?
That's not in the Bible. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you know it.
Where
You
is that
know.
in the Bible
Yeah.
that there
Well,
are
I'm sorry.
aliens?
We call them angels and demons. My bad. That's right. We call them angels and demons.
Oh, okay.
Angels. Angels. There we
I was about to say that's not where demons come from, according from my understanding. But
go. Yeah. It's very, religion is very interesting. Very interesting.
I feel
Yeah.
like when I first started, I think I talked to you about certain people that I talked to help me
Yeah.
kind of get a better grips on things because while I'm learning, I do tend to listen to other people and how they feel, but I also try to go within myself to get a understanding for myself
Yeah.
because this is the only way I'm gonna be able to
Right.
walk
Yeah.
this filth that we in, like for real.
Right.
But anyway, um, and I kind of talked to somebody that is of the same religion as me. I don't know how their
Yeah.
household was ran. You know, the Seventh Day Adventists have run their household a little bit different than others.
Yeah.
So when I talked to this person, they gave me a better grasp of understanding that, which makes sense. These people back in those days, as we would say, Seventh Day Adventists, or what were they back then? Gentiles and Jews. You have Indians and Native Americans. You have Egyptians and all kinds of different people around
Yeah.
in the earth, and all these people had different religions.
Yeah.
Um, from their understanding, that made it more clear to me, these people were telling their stories or their experiences that they had. It wasn't really a religious thing. Jews was a
Yeah.
group of people that came from Israel, whose Israel was what, Jacob? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So they became the Israelites. So these were tribes, so to speak. The Judah
Right.
tribe, the Judas tribe. So these were people who, that's like me going to sitting and talking to a Native American, and
Mm.
they could tell me a whole different history of how Earth began. If you
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
Some people, like, the Bible doesn't really talk about dinosaurs, but a lot of people talk about uh dragons. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
it's just, I think it's just more so an experience, and from the way they understood it, and
Right.
we made it a, basically, to be honest, we made it a political thing. You get
It
what I'm saying?
is.
Like, we have
Exactly.
Democrats and liberals and what is
Right.
it? Republicans. Now
Republicans.
we
Yeah.
have Seventh Day Adventists, we have Baptists, we have Methodists, we have, like, you are free to believe what you want to believe, and that
Right.
is the good thing about it.
Right.
But if we want to do it under the whole scope of everything, God is throughout our whole experience. You,
Mhm.
me, everybody. And we all just have a different understanding of that. And that is
Yeah.
okay, instead of us judging. That's the thing that
Right. Right.
that is what Jesus was trying to teach. Stop judging, start loving. You know what I'm saying? Because you are me
That
and I am you.
makes sense. Okay. That makes sense. But to tell me that, you know, a certain way about specific Jesus and I should not question it, that's offensive to me. Because if Jesus or God or a greater higher power gave me these abilities that I am free to use, I can ask questions. Because what do you get from questions? More knowledge. And God said, my children will perish due to the lack of knowledge. So you're telling me to shut up and lack in knowledge and perish? Or should I ask questions to gain knowledge so I can prosper, go further, and teach others as I'm going down there?
So I think
That's
it
my
comes
beef.
to a thing of two things. One is control. Who wants the control and power? I'm not sure of who it is.
Right, right. Yeah, okay.
Secondly, we all have grown up in the, if you don't know, you know what I'm saying? No, we, let's put it this way. Everything except the Bible, we have grown up to, if you don't know, you ask questions. With the Bible, because we don't understand, it's always been shut down to, that's, you gotta wait till you get to God to get that explanation. You get what I'm saying? It may be somebody who actually has that knowledge, or it may
Yeah.
be another book that actually has that knowledge. I
Right.
can't speak for all nationalities, but I
Right.
can kind of speak for black people when I
Mhm.
say this, and please don't get offensive, but this is just my firm belief in this one. We were in a whole different place coming here. We had our own religion, we had our own language, we had our own everything over there where we were. We
Right.
came here and we could not learn to read their language, not learn to write their language, except for if Massa told us what to write and what to say. So
Right.
basically, we were held in a certain box. You know,
Yes.
the only book that we could read was the Bible. And with that, you can see where, hey, I have this question. I don't know. You got to wait till you get to God to find that out. Don't question God. It still it fits that box of Master said. You get what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
let me sit my black, excuse me, down, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yes. Yes.
now that we're getting, let me say, now that the veil is out coming off, a lot of
Mhm.
people are waking up, a lot of people are
Right.
questioning things, a lot of people are going back to their roots, a lot of people are putting one and one together. It doesn't just make two, it makes three. So
Yeah. 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 That makes a lot more sense. It makes me feel woman fuzzy on the inside now because it just makes sense. It bothers me because, like I said, I was raised up, going to church every Sunday and Wednesdays, Sunday schools, and singing the songs and the whole church thing. Um, most of my young life until I got to the point where um where things weren't making sense to me, and like you said, my mom would say if you had my grandmother mainly, she was more church going than my mom. My mom was strict, but only under the guidance of my grandmother. My grandmother was like she was the law when it comes to religion. And when I questioned my grandmother, well, a couple of um, cousins and aunts along the family time. During
mhm.
that time, asked grandma questions. She's like, I don't know those answers because I never questioned God. You ask God
When
when
you
you
get
see God.
there,
Yeah. And then me, I'm like, well, I thought the dead don't know nothing. And so, like, no, shut up. You just don't question it and immediately shut down. And from that young age up until now, I always had a problem because, again, all my kids were baptized in a Catholic church. Well, four of them were. And I went to a Catholic church, from Christian to Catholic church. I have photos on my Instagram to show that I was there with a rabbi, and he came in, a cardinal. I'm sorry, not a cardinal. A cardinal came in from the room that at that day that my kids were baptized at the Catholic church. And I took pictures with him, and I asked the same questions. I asked the same thing. So it ain't like I just run around here assuming, this and that, or just speaking out of anger. I legit have concerns and questions when someone tell me to don't do this. And I have a right to do that because one will um, be positive for me, and the other will be negative. And I was taught to be positive, think positive, be positive. I want to ask questions so I can learn positive. So it's just little things, not to drag this out, that goes on about religion. Is you personally know there's other stuff that I have that goes into the whole religion stuff. But
mhm.
but don't get me wrong, folks. I do pray every night. I do meditate. I do pray to God. To me, is God is not some dude that's hanging out over our heads. God is internal. God is everything. This energy that cannot be created and or destroyed. Um, if you want to get scientific about it, we can detect God. We can detect God faithfully. We can detect God scientifically. If you want to go through mathematics, we can detect God because there's some reason why everything is. Man didn't create all this stuff. Mountains and a random rock, all this stuff is mathematically correct. You look out in space, all the planets and the alignments, the sun, the moon, everything is literally mathematically correct.
So I
And
got a
that was,
question for
yeah,
you.
sure, sure.
Do you really think that man went to space, like in real life, space?
Honestly, no. I believe that we flew, but I don't think we landed on the moon. I think it was staged, only because of the evidence that um, shows it. No, that from the NASA videos that I've saw, you can catch it. But you really gotta get the real NASA video, not the internet version of the NASA video, because there's a lot of fake stuff out there that was put out there by the CIA on purpose to deter us from what we really see. So this is why I like hanging around with elders, older folks, nursing homes. They have the truth. They'll tell you what it is. But
I
I
don't
don't believe it.
believe that.
I don't believe it. You know.
I don't believe that we went to space for two reasons.
Uh-huh.
One, we're flying in the sky now, and the oxygen level is not that great up there. You know, with
Yes. The
that's
higher
like
you go, the lower the oxygen. Yes.
so to go that far, there is no oxygen, and I don't really. I mean, I know that we make a lot of things, but I don't think that there's enough oxygen to go all the way out in space. That's
Well, maybe I know what you're thinking. Um, but we can make oxygen with the technology we have. If you mix two certain type of gases, you can create oxygen. Everything that's chemistry. You can make oxygen. They have divers can mix oh, what is that gas? Because in order to dive below 200 meters in the ocean, you can't breathe regular air out of a tank. You have to breathe two different gases that will make it that you have to breathe when you deep diving in the ocean. That is true. You can't breathe like we take oxygen tanks. You can
okay.
go down
So
about
let me say it this way. We can go in the ocean and
yes,
use oxygen in the tanks. But guess what? We can only be there for so long, and we can only go
yes,
but so deep.
yes, yes,
So
yeah.
what makes you think that that is not the same thing for up there in space?
Right, I agree. I agree. I agree. What are they using to breathe and stuff like that? I agree with you. If you want to, if there's so much stuff going on. Me personally, I never flew in a ship or airplane high enough to reach the stratosphere to go beyond. Uh,
I don't think
Red
they
Bull,
have either.
Red Bull did a what's called, but that could have been staged as well. But
I don't think they did either. I'm going to kind of go with the theory of Neil deGrasse Tyson. They're in Leo. You
Lord,
know what I'm saying? They're in
yeah,
Leo.
yeah,
So
yeah,
for me, it's like that's the thing that we be talking about, especially like religion and
yeah,
politics and the powers that be. Like, why play these? Excuse me for saying it like this, but I'm gonna just have to say it straight. Why keep playing these fuck mind games with me? Like, do
yeah,
you really know what's out there? Maybe you do know what's out there because of AI, or like you would say, the fallen angels or the aliens have come and gave us information about it. But I personally believe that maybe we used to be out there, or maybe there is humans out there, but not the kind of humans that we are.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I agree with you. I agree. Because there are a lot of things going on above our heads. Things I personally saw with my own two eyes and my equipment that I have at home. Like when it comes to water, they say space is a vacuum. I personally think that space is an ocean, but I think that the space when I come to oceans, I'm thinking more of a plasma. 'Cause, we always taught that water was in three stages: solid, liquid, gas. But what about plasma?
Well, they
That
try to
that's
say that the moon is plasma. I saw that.
yeah. Again, I mean, it's I wish I can get on a rocket and go that high to personally find out. All we have is the information that is available to us. If we knew an astronaut or if we knew a pilot that goes higher than 40,000 feet, thirty nine
Please
thousand
come
feet,
talk to us because we're so
yes,
curious to know. Like,
right,
and
yeah,
I will tell anybody any day, and I do know that it gets deep. But what is that girl who went down the rabbit hole? What was her name?
Alice.
Alice in the Wonderland. We gonna
Hmm.
have to go down that rabbit hole, and I mean it gets deep everywhere, and sometimes it gets overwhelming. But it's yeah,
Well,
it gets
that's
deep.
That's what's wrong with society. We've been conditioned to not ask questions, and certain questions we ask are considered crazy or insane or theory. No, it's immediately shot down, and people in fear shut their mouth because they're afraid of their reputations or they're afraid to be losing their job or even killed. For certain information. But regardless, there is tons and tons of information, people who actually tell the truth and say things. Like a lot of photos that's supposed to come from outer space doesn't go directly to NASA. So a lot of those photos come down there in Maryland to some of the colleges, and they're processed there in the center, then sent to NASA to be put out in public. The reason why there's some reason why we don't get the photos directly from the colleges because one, they're government contracted, so they got to keep their funds up. So if the government contracts and funds you, and the government says, "Hey, we're funding you. Don't show them this, but you can show them this and keep your mouth closed." What are you going to do? You want your money, right? You're going to keep your mouth shut and do as they say. And that's the same thing with
Yeah,
NASA.
you do have some whistleblowers. I will say that,
Yes,
and
yes,
and the I will say this: the greatest and the worst thing they could have ever did was invented the internet because so much stuff go on there. Whether you go backhandedly or you just think
right.
about it. TikTok has now become a consciously woke program that people are just able to talk freely, things that
Yeah,
they didn't seen, things that they didn't picked up. You don't even have to go down, what would you call it? The black web, because these
yeah.
people
The
just
dark
bring it
web.
to life.
Yeah,
They
stay
bring
off the dark web, folks. Don't go there. Yeah,
mm.
stay off of that. Do not go there. But yeah, you're right. And someone asked me the other day, do you think that they allow? So it's funny how they funnel or bottleneck everybody to one platform. So they block people off of Twitter, Instagrams, Snapchat, Facebook, right? And here comes TikTok. Everybody goes to
Everybody's
TikTok like this.
there. Everybody's on
Yeah,
Patreon. Like if you want to know the truth, they're on
go
TikTok
to
for
page straight.
60 seconds. And then they're at Patreon so that you can
Yes,
be able to legitly hear the whole truth.
yeah, but they
Um,
won't shut them down completely because the government wants to know, or these
what
other
we
people
know.
want to know,
Mhm.
what do we know? If they shut us up completely, they won't know what we know,
That's
and that's going to cause chaos among them.
mhm.
Because we're talking amongst each other, and they can't hear our conversations. So they're gonna keep some open, and as long as they're open, I'm going to talk.
I think about it is this. At the end of the day, the one thing that you did tell me that I had was freedom of speech. So you can't
Yes,
shut that down.
yeah, exactly, exactly, and that's
Just
one
like we
for
got free
me.
will, because that's what God gave us, right? Free
Right,
will. And
right,
so y'all gave us freedom of speech. So therefore
right.
you can't shut that down.
Can't shut it all down. That's right. And that's why I will always ask questions. When someone or something is teaching me a lesson, I'm not going to absorb it and then run away and regurgitate it. I got questions. I want to know the source of it. I'm being the person I used to be. I like evidence. Don't tell me it's a rock unless I can hold it in my hand and examine it and say, "Yep, this is definitely a rock." Because because of its molecular structure, what it's composed of, its weight, its volume, and everything else. But
Yeah, it may not be a rock. It could just be a pile of dirt. Like
yeah, right. That's compressed from
there, the
moisture,
pile of boo
and
like
it's
that just got
holding itself
hard. Like
together.
I mean,
Exactly. So maybe it's just a clump of dirt. It's not a rock. It's not hard enough, or it's not stable enough. It doesn't meet its right compositions and all that kind of stuff to be a rock.
yeah,
Um,
I get it. I mean,
yeah,
the true people who really try to tell truth and things like that, they give they give evidence. They tell you
yes,
for sure. Go search for yourself. Some things they may not tell you exactly where to go, but they definitely tell you go look for yourself because if you look for yourself, there's no way that you can
yes,
deny what it is that you learn, see,
exactly.
hear, touch, feel, say, any of that. So
That's my point to our listeners. Don't be afraid to talk. Don't be afraid to give your opinion. Don't be afraid if your opinion is right or wrong. Give it because it's information. Information is information. Whether it's right or wrong, is still information because you're wrong or you're right might be right and wrong somewhere else. Vice versa. Or it may be the crumb to a bigger piece of crumb to a bigger. There's truth in everything, It just need to find its place, its own place within that truth. Because what would the world be if we all told the exact truth?
The world would be boring, actually.
Yeah,
And the
I mean,
reason why, I mean,
nobody would talk.
they tell us from kids, well, they
Right,
tell us as children to use our imagination. Your
right,
imagination is endless. Some kind of way that gets lost in translation when it says, I'm gonna just go into a Bible text. When I was a child, I thought as a child, I act as a child. Now I'm a woman, man, woman. I threw away all childish things. But what happened to our imagination? Because Jesus says we have to have a heart like children to be able
right,
to enter heaven. So
right.
what happened to our imagination, our playful, not even the, well, you can call it playful. It's the exploration of things. Kids explore because they want to learn and they want to know and they want to feel, and that is what we're missing when it says that.
Yes, yeah. This is probably why all my kids are so bad,
Yeah.
because
No, I'm just
I don't shut them down. I let them be children.
hmm.
Yes, they have rules and regulations, and like my little one's jumping around this truck right now behind my back. And I gave him the look already twice. So, but he's still jumping around. They all have to. They learn from that. What we consider bad, is actually a learning experience for them. What would they learn by just sitting down doing nothing under our strict rules and guidelines all day long?
So I will say that you can be right about that in a sense, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell everyone else why. I don't think you know. I think you know this already, but like we went on a trip and we were on this mountain. And the fear in me did not want to go down this mountain. I wanted to. Everything in me felt like I wanted to, but I was so fearful that I was gonna fall, or just
Right.
anything on this mountain.
Right.
Um, as a kid, or for my kid, you get what I'm
Right.
saying, who would just fearlessly go down this mountain,
Right.
me as a parent would be like, wait a minute, stop. You're going to hurt yourself. These are the things that we teach, you know what I'm saying? Teach our
Yeah.
kids that. And as me as a grown woman was scared to go down this mountain. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
I can quite understand what you're saying when it comes to
Yeah. I'll give you a prime example. So in my house, in my backyard, I have a fire pit. And normally Dylan goes out to play with fireworks and everything. And I teach him, it's hot. You can burn yourself. If you do this, you do that. These are things that happen. I teach him that you can get hurt if you don't do it the right way. But this is a 5-year-old child. But as a parent, I let him go. Am I fearful that he's going to burn himself? Yes. But what lesson will he learn if I'm hovering over him? Come here, Dylan.
yeah, but it's
Come here.
things that you
Hold,
want to
hold on.
prevent your
Hold on.
kids.
Hold on. But so I let him go by himself. Can you see that?
Oh, Dylan,
Can you see that?
are you okay?
She says, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it hurt?
So here, say it now, Alicia. Go ahead.
Does it
I
hurt
mean,
now?
Yeah.
It hurts a little.
tell her how you did it.
Um. So Mason and Chase and the bear was at my house,
Mhm.
and we was playing outside, and we set up the fire. Then the fire died down, and
Go ahead. Tell the truth. You can't. Go ahead.
and and my little flower was in there, and then I fall. Then that's how I got it.
Oh my goodness, didn't daddy tell you not to play with that?
I didn't play with it. I was
You just
trying
had
to
an
dip
accident.
my flower
Okay.
out of there.
Okay.
So, so the point is that okay, we monitor our children, we teach them the value of the dangers of things that they should not do, but he learned that lesson. Of
On
course,
it.
he got a little mark on his arm, but he learned the lesson. So when
Yeah.
he's there again, what will he do?
He'll be more cautious about it.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
I get that, right? Because like I explained, I had to legitly go to the hospital for my baby girl. You
Right,
know
right.
what?
With her burn. Yeah.
So that part, you know what I'm saying? So that part is like, oh, you want to be checked out, but I do. I
Right.
get it. I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Because
But
let's be
that's
honest. Let's be honest. Let's go into. We don't have to go into that young. We can go into the
yeah.
teenage stage. How we know that you're about to be adults. We're telling they.
Right.
Let's go with. I'll say me. All the conversations that everybody was telling me. You need not to do
Right.
this. You need not to do that. But of course, I want to find out for myself. And it's not
Yes.
until I have my own life experiences, whether right or wrong, things I may have listened to and say, yeah, you know what, tapped a little bit. No, let me not go there. Or I didn't
Right.
went all the way. But it's all life lessons and your own journey.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, I just you know me. I like being a parent. But yeah, that's very very interesting. Oh, and speaking about space and all this kind of stuff, was there something on the list about this thing called the firmament,
yeah,
the
well,
dome
we
that
kind of
we all
touched
been.
that. That's what I was saying when I said I don't believe. I just don't. I really
Right,
don't.
right, right. Because that's been the matter of fact, the firmament and the firmament has been talked about in all religions and cultures. They all talk about it. And they also talk about the inner earth as well. Um, and how about inside the earth where we were taught where the earth has a crust, the mantle, the outer core, the inner core. Okay, it's all this
Okay,
magma, this hot stuff.
I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna say this part, this much. NASA allows us to see certain things, like you said, or
Yes.
whether go to Harvard or whatever the case may be. Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
We've already talked about, everybody talked about the flat earth theory that's been
Yes.
debated back and forth, blah, blah, blah. Then I've heard things of there is a entrance like into the inner earth. I have
Yes.
seen these pictures.
Yeah.
I can't necessarily say that they're not true. But then it also, right, with what you say as far as the different religions talk about the firmament, the Bible doesn't really get into it. It just says that God separated the waters from above, from the waters below, made dry land, whatever the case may be. But I have seen some pictures of this firmament. And
Mhm.
other religions have where there is a pathway to heaven.
Mhm.
So my question then is from the pictures that I see where they're saying that there's a pathway in the inner earth, could this possibly be the pathway that goes to heaven? And this is why we can't get there. Or
Well,
it's space.
it's determined what heaven is.
Okay.
It's when people say heavens, even going back into text, are we talking about this uh place of non-flesh, or are we talking about this? Are we talking about a physical place like a beautiful place other than where we are now that they call heaven? Because the way texts go, anything above our heads, beyond the earth, beyond the earth is considered the heavens. So what do you mean by heaven? Like when we die, we go to this
So
heaven. Is that
I'm not talking
yeah?
about where we're going to go. No.
When we die, yeah.
I would talk about
Guys, this
um
looks like rainbow.
space.
So, okay, and going through those because the poles are supposed to be at the north and south. The entrance is supposed to be at the north or south poles
Okay.
to the quote unquote inner earth.
Right.
Um, and you're actually those pathways to heaven.
Right. And if that's the
It could,
case, then there's no way that we could. You get what I'm saying?
yeah, 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 yeah. Right, right. Like there, that's the only entrance to get out there and back.
Because if you wanted to go about it the way, let's just say, of the firmament, which means that we're covered in a glass dome. That's
Right,
why
on a
Earth
flat
would
Earth.
be round. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? That's why
Yes.
Earth would be round because we are covered in a glass dome. and there's nothing but water over top of our heads,
Right.
and the light that we see, which is the sun and all that stuff, is a reflection, because if you look back out at it, the stars look like they're underwater, right?
Yes. I've seen it with my own eyes. Yes.
Okay, so that would mean there is only one pathway out there,
Yeah,
which
because
would
the ancient text.
which would then be the same pathway into the inner earth. So the question is, I just don't understand it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like I said, if I've never been there personally, so I don't know other than using the necessary equipment that's surrendered to me to use and see. Um,
Hmm.
I didn't really get into the flat Earth theory till recently,
Hmm.
um, because it didn't make sense. If you well, we're about the 45 black, but I've been north of here towards Canada and everything and stargaze and watch and stuff. If you find the North Star, which I can't remember the name of the star, if you find it North Star and use your time lapse camera north of where your location is, you're closer to the north than I am, and because you're closer to Canada, and fixate your camera on that one star, the northern star. From that vantage point, the stars will go clockwise according to the photographs. If you go south and anywhere south like Africa or more of the southern islands and do the same thing, the stars are counterclockwise. I understand. I can only experience the north side. I never experienced the south side myself. I've seen stars through binoculars and even some planets through binoculars and telescopes that I have. And yes, it do have that water look effect. Even some of the planets have that water look effect to it.
Hmm.
And right on their moons, I see Saturn and Jupiter's with all their moons with my own eyes. Um, it does have a fixate point light, but the stars are more or less like flickering, twinkling in the distance. It has that water effect. So that's what made me think that, okay, I didn't quite think of the firmament and I didn't quite, couldn't understand um, that space is a vacuum. It has to be that water in a plasma form. But then I got to thinking, if you do look, how does your vision work? Our eyeballs, our glasses, camera lenses, camera lenses on your phone, binoculars, telescope, they all have curved lenses, right? So when you look up at the moon and at the horizon, the moon is very big. And as it goes up, it gets very small. So now I'm getting into the whole firmament theory because are we looking through a glass dome at the moon in the sun? Because even when the sun sets, it's huge. And it also gives off the reddish orange color. And as it rises or sets, it gets smaller. So and it makes you question about the flat earth theory. Like, okay, so what am I looking at? This is probably why the moon looks clear through a telescope when I'm looking at it at nighttime. But if I look at the star behind the moon, it's flickering like it's in water. The star is actually flickering like this. You never get a clear picture or a photograph or look at a star clear without doing all kinds of stuff, like just really flickering. I mean, it's beautiful, multiple colors and everything, but it's never fixated. So like, is that a sun? Why is it flickering? Then when I look through the NASA information, it says, well, it comes through many atmospheres and this is why it's flickering, blah, blah, blah. But why doesn't the moon flicker? Why doesn't, Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars and Venus are flickering when I'm looking into a telescope? They're not flickering. I can clearly see them. Like I'm looking at this phone.
Well, I know the
So,
sun is a star itself.
yes, it's an M class star. Yes. And I looked at I don't have it with me. I have a sun shield. I put it on the end of my telescope and look
Mm-hmm.
directly at the sun. See sunspots, solar flares, which is really nice. Folks, you gotta get a 16-inch telescope. It is unbelievable the things you can see with the telescope. I've seen some flares that comes off the sun. It's not like that big if you look at the telescope, but according to NASA, it's it takes a million planets to fill up the sun. of Earth,
Mhm.
or billion. So, and again, I don't know that part of information. So I'm kind of into when I'm trying to do my own research and test these theories myself. If I get before I make my own conclusion, like yes, this is what it is.
Mhm.
So right now, I'm kind of on my personal political truth. I haven't found the objective truth yet until I
Nothing wrong
get
with
more
that.
evidence. Huh?
Is there nothing wrong with that?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
That's how imagination going. That's how it works.
Oh yeah. One more thing. How about
Mhm.
the building collapse in Florida, Miami?
Yeah, didn't it look like the one on 9/11?
Well, it does look like a controlled demolition.
Mhm.
And I have downloaded this image, put it on my tablet, so I can get a bigger, closer look at it with my glasses. And what video footage that was available on the internet, which was only one,
Mhm.
I watched it closely. The sparks that was sparking off the building as it was collapsing, I thought was explosive, from like a
Like a
demolition.
demolition. Right.
Yes. But then as I dug into it deeper, this building was powered at the time. As the building was collapsing, there could have been power wires and lines, electrical lines snapping as this building was kind of, it didn't really pancake down. It more or less crumbled. Like it just crumbled and fell down on one section of
Mhm.
it. And,
And then the other side fell. You don't think
yes,
that that was a
the, the,
controlled
the,
demo? I think it was a controlled
the
thing.
the look the tower, it was like the flat center. There's a tower here, tower there. The flat center went first, and then the tower to your right looking at it went down. The tower to your left looking at it stayed up because there were several witnesses who came out their apartment buildings, opened up the door, and all they saw was outside from their apartment that we were staying in, which is, I bet, it was pretty scary.
Yeah.
um a lot of survivors. Last I checked, there were 33 survivors and about six deceased. One of the survivors was a 16-year-old girl, broke
Mm.
both legs. She was
Mm.
bandaged from head to toe, and she put herself on live. Somebody was recording her, of course, telling her story how the floor and everything came from underneath of her, and she rode it all the way down, and she
Wow.
dug she dug herself out to go and dug herself out crawling, of course, and both of her legs were broken. Until somebody pulled her away from the rubble and everything. So she experienced it firsthand, the ride down from
Mm.
where she was and everything. Listen to her story. So again, I at first I was thinking, controlled demolition. Here's another 9/11. But if you look at the facts and the evidence, that they're giving us, witness testimonies and everything, especially coming from a child and everything. So it's kind of like different stuff. If you go back in history of this building, they were complaining about the building structure, how it was sinking. Back in 2006, they said that this building was sinking.
So the
Um,
question is, okay, let's say
I'm
it
sorry,
just
y'all.
naturally did it on its own.
yeah,
Then
due to deterioration, yes,
okay, fine.
deterioration. That's what we think it is.
But if
Deterioration,
not, why do you think that that building was crumbled?
uh, earthquake. It could be tons of things. I can even go. I can even be safe to say that explosion, the bomb they set off in the ocean with the big blue light, sent
Yeah, we didn't even talk
vibrations.
about that.
Yeah, that could have sent vibrations
That could be what.
everywhere
Mm-hmm.
and weakened the structure of that building.
Mm-hmm.
Because they did it off the coast of Florida. And if
Hmm.
you folks, you don't know what I'm talking about, the United States, the good old great United States here, American flag, there we go. Good old United States test a bomb, a very powerful bomb, one of the most powerful bombs that the United States made. Um, Set it off in the middle of the ocean off the coast of Florida. Here back on the 16th, I think it was, the 17th, the 21st. Somebody, it wasn't too long ago, set it off. You can find the video on Facebook, Instagram, all your media platforms. You can find it and everything, which is fine. They build a bomb, they want to test it, fine. But what about the ecosystem and the damage they cause with explosion? The last time we set up a bomb that was supposed to be a powerful bomb, there were two. The Russia made one called the Tsar Bomba, and they also made one called Fat Boy. These are the most two powerful bombs that were made by humans. And when they set those things off, it made the earth ring like a bell.
the part of the question is like, why are we setting off bombs anyway? Like,
Right.
it's
Exactly.
testing, whatever the case may be, but there's living, let's put organisms everywhere. So why
Yes.
are we setting off bombs?
Because we're men.
That's
Boys are
stupid.
big toys. Yeah, boys are big toys. Boys are big toys. That's the only reason why United States want to show how big their private parts are. My private is bigger than yours. That's what the United States is doing. And they set that bomb off the
So
coast
it
of
says
Cal.
it was intended to show how durable ships are when confronted with a bombing.
Which doesn't even
The
make sense.
explosion was so big it caused a 3.9
Magnitude.
magnitude earthquake,
Yes.
roughly 160 kilometers away. So, that was 9news.com where I got that information, guys. If you want to
Yes.
check it out, but it's like, why are we doing this?
Right. Exactly. Again, big boys with toys. That's what it's all about. Big boys with toys.
That's terrible.
Okay,
I
I,
mean,
I
it's just
don't.
terrible.
Oh God. Okay, so never mind. I'm sorry. I got distracted for a second there.
Mhm.
I just saw this guy get out of his truck with some tight spandex pants, an army green shirt, and an army hat. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Anyway. So yeah, but that's. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Hey. It's all good, right? So
Yeah, freedom of choice.
we're-
That's what it is.
yeah, hell of a choice. But
Wow. Anyway, back to why these men do
my
these
ADD kicking
bad
in.
things. Like,
Mad Men, exactly.
now,
And,
if you
and
want to
that's
go
my
back
whole
into religion or
yeah, that's my whole point.
spirituality or
Mad
things like
men
that, we
doing
have to
crazy
come.
stuff.
Yeah, and we have to come with the thing of what Christianity,
Right.
religion, or spirituality is all teaching. Yo,
Exactly.
you are me, I am you. We are all one. It's love. Like, why are we doing such evil things? Whether you want
So
to say it's the devil, which to the devil
right,
to me is not one person.
exactly.
It's an
And to
action
the
to me.
folks down in Florida, if weird creatures start washing up on the shore, you know who
Please
did it.
record it. We want to see this.
Record it, send it to us,
We want to
please. You can
see it.
find me. Yeah, if because it will be, it all wash up the shore. But setting off a bomb that big and that powerful, water is a very good conductor of energy, frequencies, and vibrations. Very good conductor, and you can imagine how long that energy or how far that energy traveled, and how many creatures and species they wiped out.
Huh?
Just
And for what?
imagine.
Or and not even if you just wipe, you disturb the water. Also,
Yes,
with the stuff that
yes,
you put in the water, you get what I'm saying? That's going to
exactly.
disturb the even. It's not only going to disturb the animals, but we drink this water.
Yeah.
So imagine the we already have poison going into our bodies, but imagine the even more poisonous stuff they put in there.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's what they doing down there, folks. If you experience anything strange with the animals and nature down there,
I
good old United
definitely want to
States.
see. You can send it to
Yeah.
me. Send it to
Whatever
us
wash up on
personally.
shore,
We'll put it
for
on
sure,
here.
they're
We
going to come to shore. Sharks, seals, whales, if they're in the area, they're going to run from that and go beach themselves. The Navy set off one of their frequency guns many years ago to test, you know, uh, their energy weapon off the coast of California. And maybe a week later, whales started beaching themselves by the hundreds, beaching
Well, the
themselves.
question is, why are they deciding to do it in these hot over there? Is it more water over there or something?
Where? In
Florida,
California?
California.
In Florida? Well, it's probably close to one of the nearest test sites they had there. And they just pick it randomly. I don't know why. I don't know why. Like I said, it's like you said, why are we doing it in the first place? Like, why would we need a bomb that powerful for anyway?
Hmm.
Why? That doesn't make sense.
That is
Who
the
we
question. That is,
who we
if you
pointing
guys
to?
wait a minute, if everybody is pushing, we have what we have a United States, was the embassy everywhere all over the world,
United
right?
Nations, yeah,
Yeah.
UN, yeah.
If
Mhm.
we are pushing the thing of peace and harmony for the whole world, what do we need to make bombs for? that as the question. If you got to think of every president who has been to each and every continent, I mean, throughout their presidency, helping them with their wars and pushing peace and order and blah, blah, blah. What do we really need this bomb for?
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
The last time
Exactly.
these bombs were out was what? When Hitler was alive?
But further than that, like
Okay.
the first hydrogen bomb was dropped in Nagasaki.
For
There was a
what?
hydrogen bomb.
For
The
what?
first one they dropped.
For what?
World War it was
Do you
World War
want to do
World War
conspiracy way or do you want to do the way that they told us it was for?
what? Oh, you lost me.
I
What do
said,
you
what
mean?
was it dropped for? Would it be for the conspiracy way or would it be for what they told us, which was a world war?
Well, the hydrogen bomb they dropped for testing.
Mm,
That's what they told us.
mm,
But conspiracy way, when they first start dropping these bombs, this is when the UFO phenomenon started. That's exactly when it all started. But I mean, it didn't really start it because it did start out through history because it's documented from our ancestors who write them down in cave paintings, everything,
mm-hmm.
all the way back to religion. UFOs or sky phenomena has always been there, but it just wasn't more prevalent until we started dropping bombs. And Richard Byrd of the United States Air Force, was the one who flew to both of the poles and was kidnapped and took it into the inner earth to speak to these beings. And they specifically told him, and he confessed this on his dying bed in a diary. You can look it up. Saying that when they kidnapped him, they took this flying craft came beside his plane, took control of his plane, took him to the inner earth. The voice came through his radio saying, "Be calm. We're not going to hurt you. We're going to guide your plane in." When they took him there, he spoke to these people and what he called the leader. They told him to come back to us, basically saying, "Stop dropping fucking bombs."
Hmm.
Basically. And he documented this. He also said while he was flying over the poles, um, there's open land beyond the snow, and he saw what he believed was mammoth, the woolly mammoth, and dinosaurs.
Well, we see that there has been that, well, the mammoth, when they pulled it out of the ice and it was still there with vegetation in its mouth. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's another thing. Let me tell you something. You know how fast you will have to freeze a very large animal in its actions and freeze them like that? Something happened that froze that mammoth so quick that he still had food in his mouth. That means he was in the process of eating, and boom, he froze.
Maybe we'll ask Enoch when he comes back or Jesus or something. Because I mean, it is some type of writings. I think it's in the. I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna have to look it up. I think it's the Jubilee that explains some things that happened there in the Antarctica. But yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we'll ask
Yes.
him Jesus when he comes back. God, when he comes
There you go. There you go. I'm ready to run to Walmart and get some more milk and honey and pack it up for all of y'all. We're gonna need it. We're gonna need
We're going to call it a day before Atlanta goes crazy. Thank you for joining us in this conversation. Please, again, like, share, subscribe. Join us in these conversations. I think the next time that we do this, we'll let you guys know a couple of days in advance so that you can come join us and ask questions or talk or whatever it is that you want to do. Again, I am your girl, Consistence.
I'm in love.
And you
Going back
guys
to work.
have a wonderful day. Bye
Yes. All
bye.
right.